With its pulsing maribou tail and bright orange head, the orange bead damsel is an extremely effective pattern for stillwater trout, whether it be on reservoirs or smaller lakes.
Right then, the first step is to slip the bead over the point of the hook and slide it up the shank, then fix the hook in the vise, then slide the bead up to the eye, then run on the tying thread, locking the loose end in place with a few turns of thread before trimming off the waste end. Next, take the thread and carry it down the shank in close turns until it reaches a point roughly opposite the barb. The tail comprises a generous pinch of olive maribou, so take the plume and tear off a bunch of the fibres. Then prepare them by trimming them to length and then stripping away some of the flue at the base of the fibres to keep bulk to a minimum. With the tail prepared, offer it up to the hook and catch it in place with 3 or 4 turns of thread.
Apply further turns of thread to lock the waste ends of the maribou along the shank. Then take the thread back up to the base of the tail. Next, take 2 strands of fine green pearl crystal flash and catch them in place halfway along their length at the base of the tail. Then fold them over so that it creates 4 strands and lock them in place with further tight thread turns. Olive fritz is used for the body, so take a length and remove a few fibres from one end to leave a bare section of core. Then offer the fritz up to the hook and catch it in place using that section of bare core at the base of the tail. Wind the tying thread back up the shank in close turns. Then take hold of the fritz and from the base of the tail start to wind it along the shank in open turns so that it doesn't create too dense a body. As each turn of fritz is applied, stroke the fibres back so subsequent turns don't trap them. So with the body in place, secure the loose end of the fritz with tying thread and then trim off the waste end with scissors. Then add just a few further turns of thread to tidy up the front of the fritz body. In this pattern, the hackle is a dyed olive partridge body feather. So it needs to be prepared by first stroking the fibres back away from the tip and then trimming the tip to leave a short stub. Then offer the feather up to the hook and catch it in place just in front of the body using a few tight thread turns. Grasp the stem of the hackle with a pair of hackle pliers and then continue to apply turns of the hackle, working towards the bead. Having applied 3 or 4 turns of the partridge hackle, secure the stem in place with a few turns of thread. And then carefully trim it off with a pair of scissors. With the hackle in place, take a small pinch of olive glister dubbing and offer it up to the thread. Using a simple finger and thumb twist, dub it on to form a thin rope and then apply a couple of turns at the base of the bead to form a collar. Next, cast off the thread with a secure whip finish, applying 3 or 4 turns, drawing them tight, and then snipping off the loose end of thread. To finish the fly off, just take a small piece of velcro and tease out some of the fibres from the collar just to blend in with the hackle. And that's it complete, the orange bead damsel.